My name's Clodagh Miskelly and I'm a Postdoctoral Research Fellow. I'm working on inclusive decision-making spaces for multi-level action. We're looking at how, specifically in particular, communities can be involved in decision-making and should be involved in decision-making around a fair transformation. And multi-level action means that might be where we look at things at a level of what's happening within a community, or it might be feeding into policy or local government, or it might feed in different places. And we're doing research with people, with communities, and it will be looking at issues that are of concern to them. And it matters because we need people's imagination and insights and ideas to get this right, and it needs to be socially and culturally acceptable to people, so we have to do it with people. So this is research about that. I've had quite a winding path. This somehow got me here. So I did a degree in French and drama. And while I was doing that, I got interested in kind of political elements of drama, and I got interested in sort of alternative ways of using communication in drama and experience around social change, because I came from quite a politically aware background. I got interested in that, and then I did a master's, which was specifically about development communication and participatory communication. Then this was back in the 90s when these things weren't quite as, they're becoming complex and understood now, but at the time there were a lot of jobs in that. So I spent a couple of years volunteering and got very involved in environment and climate action in London and I helped run an eco-village in London, which is, you know, a whole story in itself. And from there, and then picked up, did that for a couple of years, got quite burnt out by that, and then decided to do a PhD, which went further with the kind of creative approaches to social change that I was interested in, and particularly storytelling. And that, again, this was the 90s, a long time ago. This is when digital media and computers and things were really, like, we didn't have them in our homes and in our pockets. So it was really quite a big deal and new and cutting edge to do community-based research around how we might use those tools. Now completely out of date. And then from there I kind of moved on to, I did the PhD, I worked as postdoc a little bit, and then I moved into working more in the voluntary sector in the UK, and then into the international development sector and peace building sector, where I worked with a whole range of different participatory approaches to social justice, particularly with people who are ignored and ostracised in social change. That work took me a lot of different places and in a lot of different sectors, health, livelihoods and different things, all of which are connected to biodiversity loss, the challenges that we're seeing, and the climate crisis. Not necessarily explicitly, but they were in the challenges that people in crisis communities in places all over the world that were facing. And I became quite aware that I had learned a lot about those things, but I didn't have a good grounding in them. So then I went back and did a master's in sustainability and behaviour change, and then saw this job. So that's kind of the long and winding road. The thing I find the most interesting about working in the Climate Co-Centre is the fact that we're bringing lots of different disciplines together. I've worked with communities who really needed information and access to research and didn't have it. I've worked with researchers who didn't have those links to community, and I think bringing all those different things together and different disciplines within that is really exciting.